Okay, here you go.
You gotta hit our.
There you go.
Shalom, shalom. Kal halalim la Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Barakti Yahweh, Barakti Yahweh Shai, Bahashem Rakak Kodash. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, who are the men of the Lord, and also the prophets of that body, who are also the men of the Lord. Okay, double honors to the apostles, elders, and Salachya. Double honors to the apostles, elders, elder bishops of Great Millstone, and shalom to the prophets of that body, and shalom to the 144,001 third. May peace and blessings be upon you and your households as we approach the end, Lord willing, as soon as possible, right? We all want to get the F out of here, okay? But we have this beautiful truth which keeps us balanced out in the spirit power of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, and we have the name of the Lord. And pursuant to the book of Ecclesiastes, the elect shall call upon the name. All right, paraphrasing the scripture there, shall call upon the name of the Lord. Acts 4:12, there's only one name under heaven that we must be saved, and that's the name of Yahweh Bahashem Yahweh Shai. Okay, you hope for elect members should get a lot of peace from that name, and you know that name fits like a perfect missing puzzle in your life, and like you got a puzzle and you just click into place and it goes click, and it's that perfect sound, and and it's that perfect sound and that perfect feel of that last piece just clicking into place, right? That's the name of Yahweh Bashem Yashai, okay? Obviously, we'll be properly set up once we're in the kingdom, but the name of the Lord, man, whew, it's a life jacket in this deep ocean that the hopeful elect are in. And Lord willing, we'll be, we've got our rock and salvation, that's returning very soon. But you know what I mean? Like the name of the Lord is our rock and salvation, man. Yahweh Bashem Yashai is our rock and salvation. I hope you understand what I'm saying, But I know I've waffled on there a bit, Salachya for that. But the name of the Lord, man, it's beautiful, okay? Brakti Yahweh Bashem Yashai Bashem Rakak Kodash, the Wada other one, for these spiritual blessings. All right. Nevertheless, I'm sure you know this individual, Craig Melvin. Okay. He is a Jake anchor, mid-40s, very successful academic in high school, college, as Israelites are, because Jacob is a former of all things. Jacob has a form of excellence, okay, in terms of education, sports, academics, because we are those people. But obviously, this is not a Jake in the truth, okay? As we know what goes on, even if you have to be an anchor in this world, what goes on to even get to that specific level of success, okay? But nevertheless, we're not going to touch on that. We're going to touch on the family aspect, right? Now, I've been reading the comments at the bottom of this because Craig Melvin's family surprises him on the first day as today co-anchor. When was this, by the way? This is 11 months ago, right? And they were just kept talking about his son, how much his son looks like him. But the fact of the matter is that's his daughter too. That's biologically his child, okay? Now, DNA, so-called DNA or genes, sometimes the children come out looking like the mother, right? And even the father could be a so-called black, Hispanic, or Native Indian man. The children sometimes come looking at the mother, and the mother could be East Indian, the mother could be Chinese, the mother could be Polynesian, the mother could be a so-called white woman, the mother could be a Japanese woman, the mother could be a mixture of Moab and Esau, So the children could come out any which way, okay? And that's a curveball thrown at you idiots out there that go on this blackety black bullshit, okay? That you got to be a certain shade and look a certain way to be an Israelite, okay? if that was the case, right, Esau would go to all the would be able to delete Jake pretty easily, even though the Lord Yahweh Shema Shah won't allow that. But that would be a very carnal thought process. The Lord wants his sheep to be spiritual as well. Yes, the Israelites collectively are so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indian. Yes, that's absolutely correct. Yes, collectively they are. We are a people of different shades of brown. Yes, you are correct. But there is also something called the Israelite foreigners. We were scattered to the four corners of the earth, and we are the largest nation of the earth on the earth. Deuteronomy 20, verse 64. We are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Okay, different nations. Okay, through captivity. America is not the only time we've been in slavery. Okay, we've been in slavery numerous times, and the Jake man, we are very virile men. We love women. Okay, and wherever beautiful, attractive women are, whichever situation we are in, you've seen it in modern wars, World War One, World War Two. How many so-called black men went to Germany, Switzerland, Netherlands, the UK, left their seed? And some of these famous pop singers, I'm not going to get the pictures up now. If you know, you know. Elder Apostle Gabar makes plenty of videos on that. Some of these famous pop singers that actually got a bit of soul actually have their fathers look like so-called black men, just on going back to the 1940s. So how much more going back thousands of years? So we are scattered to the four corners of the earth. Okay, and some of us look like everybody, but we can't. But we all go back to the loins of your specific Israelite tribe. If you are from a so-called Black, Hispanic, or Native Indian, or even an Israelite foreigner, okay, there are Jakes out there that look like East Indians, or they look Hispanic but they're from Northern India, or they look Sicilian or Italian, but they're Judites or Northern Kingdom. Okay, and then these Israelite foreigner men that might look like an East Indian, Chinese, or a so-called white man. I'm using today's terms in terms of race. If they look like an Edomite, a Moabite, or an Elamite, or a Japhetic person, and then they have children, okay, with a woman that's an Edomite or East Indian or a whatever nation. How do you think the children look? Okay, they're not going to look like the original look. They're not going to have it. Okay, so we're going to come looking like everyone. When the chariots return, when Yahushua returns and you see certain white peoples, let's just say you see an East Indian guy, you see a Chinese guy, you see what looks like to be Elamite, or what looks like to be a Moabite, what looks like to be an Edomite, right, being beamed up. They're not being beamed up because every nation is going to be saved. No, they're the elect. They're Israelites of that lineage. Okay, all right. So are you telling me, okay, that this child is not an Israelite? He's not an Israelite. This young lad here can pass for he could almost pass for my nephew. All right, my nephew's got features like him, but only my nephew's hair is just straight and a golden brown color. Right, you can pass for my nephew. Okay, and this girl here looks like my niece. You know, her mother's an Edomite as well. Okay, so we're gonna come looking like everyone. You are whatever your father is. There's no such thing as biracial. There's a damn channel on YouTube called biracial. Biracial this, biracial that. You are whatever your father is. The race construct of black and white, as Elder Malcolm would say, he's mentioned numerous people, but the name Jacqueline Batalora stays in my mind. Those are the receipts there of when the term black and white was created. Okay? Otherwise, prior to the 1600s, I believe, we weren't known as so-called black and white. That was not the case. All right, these are modern terms. The so-called white woman has been dealing with. I mean, some of these so-called white women could be Israelites also, but it doesn't matter what the mother is. It matters what the father is. Hence the reason why women take on the last name. Hence the reason why women, if you watch movies, romantic movies, you see movies about family, you see movies, period dramas or period movies. What does a woman say when she gets so lovey-dovey with her husband? She's looking into his eyes saying, baby, I want my son to look like you, to carry on what? The family name. The family name. Women don't carry on the family name. Women are a vessel that bring forth the children of the man they lie down with. They bring forth his family line. So a so-called black woman laying down with a honky, a Edomite, a real Edomite, a real cracker, a real dothead Elamite, a real Moabite, real Chinese person, a real whatever heathen nation. They're bringing forth their heathen nation. Okay? They're bringing forth their nation. Okay? So we're going to come around looking like everyone. Let me just get another snapshot. I'm not going to really play this because it's just an interview with their family, you know? Just a nice looking Jake family, you know what I mean? You know, just a nice looking Jake family. Normalcy. It's nice to see a man, woman, and children instead of this, you know, even though Esau's ruined the image of the rainbow, it's nice to see, you know, man, woman, children. Normal. But anyway, let's go to get another picture of these guys. And it's a beautiful family, man. Straight up. It's a lovely looking family. And there she is again. All right. Okay, look. Okay. Israelite father, Israelite son. He's even carrying the family name. That's his Israelite daughter. Okay. Okay. So if his brother's, you know, he could be Northern Kingdom. He could be Gad or Reuben. You know, kind of looks like a Gadite. Kind of looks like a Reubenite, actually. You know, sometimes you get the, you know, a vibration of how what somebody possibly could be. Or he could be a Judite. He's an Israelite nonetheless. Now his wife, I don't know what she is. She could be an Israelite. I don't know. All right, but that doesn't matter. But these children and the father are definitely Israelites. So we're going to come looking like everyone. Now you're probably thinking, oh no, but we don't want Israelites in the kingdom looking like honkies. But in the kingdom, no Israelites are going to look like honkies. In the kingdom, when your body is changed, when you're beamed up into them chariots, you're going to get your look back, pursuant to your tribe. Okay? And it ain't going to be boring. We're all still going to be very diverse looking. We're all still going to have various skin tones, hair textures, you know? Like you see a so-called Dominican family, a Simeonite family. Watch the movie Shaft. Okay, you see an array of, you know, they use Vanessa Williams to play a so-called Puerto Rican because some Puerto Ricans or Ephraimites look like Vanessa Williams, you know, or they look like is it Jeffrey Wright or Jeffrey White? Is it the actor who played Peoples in Shaft? Or Shaft, yeah, he's a so-called black man playing a Simeonite. And if you look at it, you know, some had light skin, some had brown skin, you know, some had different, you know, hazel eyes, green hazel eyes, or whatever. We're going to be like, you know, we're going to be like that in the kingdom. We're still going to be diverse looking. It's not going to be boring. All right. But the thing is, there ain't going to be no Israelites who look like honkies or heathens in the kingdom. You're going to have your royal look back. All right. You're going to have that back in the kingdom, Lord willing. Okay. Okay. I mean, even though Andrew Tate is an idiot, I mean, Andrew Tate's an Israelite. You know about Andrew Tate, right? The bald-headed guy, his brother, they're Israelites too. You know? And they're just a combination of their mother and father. That's just the way the Lord made them. But they're Israelites. You know? There's so many so-called white actors you think that, you know, that look white that are actually Israelites. Okay? I'm not going to point that out right now. I want to try and keep this video a little short because I understand that, you know, our people have a short attention span. But it's all good though. But I'm just pointing out the fact. All right? This is an Israelite family, okay? There it looks like they're in a crazy, wacky-tacky church. Okay? Look. That's his son and daughter. All right? They're from his loins. These are his babies, okay? Israelite children. All right? All right? They're nice-looking Israelite children too, you know? There's a nice picture over here, look. Yeah, she looks like her dad. She's got her dad's probably got like grayish eyes. She's got grayish eyes. Kind of looks like a Mariah Carey. Mariah Carey's an Israelite. You tell me Mariah Carey is not an Israelite? Huh? Those of you blackety black jakes out there. Huh? All right, let's go to some scriptures now, man. What did I quote earlier? Yeah. Let's go to Deuteronomy 20 at verse 64, Lord willing. Deuteronomy 20 verse 64. And the Lord Yahweh Bashem Yashai shall scatter thee among all people, from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. Okay? Now me, I'm a perfect example. I'm an Israelite foreigner. All right? I'm in my late 40s. I did not even look at the Bible or even read anything about it. Did not know who the Israelites were. I heard about them. Kind of, I used to always have questions in my mind. Why is the Messiah a so-called white guy when, the religion was founded in a part of the world where people have color? Oh, to all these kind of questions, but I never looked into it. And then lo and behold, many, 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 many years later, you wake up, you find out you're an Israelite. Okay? And my family are from northern India, the border of Persia. So, all right? And we pass for basically, I would say, more Ephraim and Issachar type of look with with some family members looking like Sicilians as well. So I mean, this, and and some of the surnames in northern India, are quite diverse as well. They go to different parts of the world as well. But all it's a weird one. We are everywhere. Okay. And I grew up in a very different culture, okay, where the majority of the people are Jake, but they just grew up in a different culture, in a different way. I'll give you an example. The majority of Sikhs, Sikhs, the ones that have the turbans, the mitris, and the long beards, as well, those are the Orthodox ones. And then you have the ones that don't wear the mitris and who have the beards, right? A lot of them, okay, even Brother Napash in the UK, Great Millstone, the tall brother, Turkish brother, he's even said it, because if you grew up in the UK, you grew up around a lot of so-called South Asians, and majority of Sikhs are Jake. I know because I grew up in a very hood environment with Israelite foreigners and Benjamin back in the 80s in West London. So we are everywhere. So don't get it twisted, man. Jake's gonna come out from every we are everywhere, man. Okay, I've seen Nigerian men that are Jake married to East Indian women in India. Okay, and they accepted in that East Indian family. Maybe that East Indian family are Jake. I've seen documentaries, videos. I've even seen it in the UK, and the children look like straight up Indians, stereotypical, dot-head Indians. But those children are Jake. Or some of them come out exotic looking. We are everywhere. Okay. So Romans 8:16, the Spirit beareth witness. Now let's go to Deuteronomy 28:64 again. And the Lord Yahweh shall scatter thee among all people from the one end of the earth even unto the other, and there thou shalt serve other gods, which neither thou nor thy fathers have known, even wood and stone. And we do that to this day. Our people are in Islam, our people are in Hinduism, Buddhism, wacky-tacky fake-ass Christianity with, having the idol of what was used to sacrifice our big brother, our king, His Majesty Yahweh Shai. People have that around their neck. Okay, people, Northern Kingdom Jakes, Southern Kingdom Jakes in Italy, who are Catholics, worshiping stones of Mary and idols of Mary, idols of JC, Caesar Borgia, Edomite Jebus. Our people still do this shit to this day. And you can see that these are our people, because our people are so-called so religious. They believe in a higher power, but not according to knowledge. Romans 10 verse 2. But but not according to knowledge. Okay? So these are indications, because our people are very merciful, very spiritual. They believe in a higher power. They believe in so-called karma. You reap what you sow, you know? But this last generation that we're in are completely crazy, man. Completely crazy. Let's go to, excuse me, I'm clearing my throat. Salachya for that. Just every time I'm making a video, my throat gets drier. And yes, I do have coffee or stroke water next to me as well. So it's just, hey, man, the spirits are doing their thing. Oh, crying out loud. Where's the other one? Numbers 118. Excuse me. Numbers 1 verse 18. Okay, you are whatever your father is. There's no such thing as mixed. Okay, all right. You are whatever your father is. All right, all right. Moses had an Ethiopian wife. Are you telling me, if you have a woman that's of another nation, that the children are not going to be Israelites? King Solomon had 1,000 wives. All right, 700 wives, 300 concubines, fine women, women that he only saw the nakedness of. Are you telling me all the children that he had, those seed didn't carry on to this day? Okay, there are no more new spirits created. Those spirits just get recycled. Okay, even the Lord can create new spirits if he wishes to do so. I mean, wish is the wrong word to use. If the Lord wants to, Yahweh Shemashah wants to, the Lord can, the Yahweh Shemashah can do what he wants. Okay, but those spirits are still here, man. All right. So it doesn't matter what the woman is. Okay, as the only thing is the woman has to be single, and you can't, as an Israelite man, follow her doctrine. She happens to be, you fall in love with an East Indian woman, and she happens to be a Hindu or whatever kind of religion she follows. You don't follow her religion. You tell her to cut that shit out, and calm it down, or you just use her as a concubine, but you don't follow her doctrine. You don't go to any of her so-called days that they celebrate or whatever, and you keep that shit at bay, and you just use her for what she's for. She's basically relief for you, and you just basically play the game. All right. Same with the Edomite woman. If you get an Amalekite Edomite woman, a small hatter, JOO, and they do their thing, right? You still keep her at bay. Okay. You any kind of woman you have, you just don't follow her doctrine. Okay. Okay. Numbers 118. And they assembled all the congregation together on the first day of the second month, and they declared their pedigrees after their families by the house of their fathers, according to the number of the names from 20 years old and upward by their polls. They declared their pedigrees how? After their families by the house, by the house, by the house, by the house of their fathers. Your last name, okay? Your last name, whatever your family name is. Example, like the house of, let's make up some names. The house of Peter, the house of James, the house of Jameson, the house of, Reuben, the house of Issachar, or, whatever your last name is, the house of Davidson, whatever your family name is, that's what you are. Okay. And, okay, the look of an individual can change depending on which kind of woman you're dealing with. And even within dealing with our own women, sometimes we can come out very diverse looking. All right. So, yes, there is a look that we have, in terms of the 12 tribes. There is a particular look. Okay. So-called, different shades of brown, curly hair, straight hair, wavy hair, different eye colors. Yes. Different shades of brown, from high yellow, like Charlie Baltimore, the rapper from the 90s, pale like her, to dark as Wesley Snipes, and everything in between, man. All right. But there's also we also look like straight up heathens too. And that's a stumbling block for a lot of you jakes out there that only go by the look. You know, you've probably, some of you teachers that are frontline teachers have probably turned away Israelites, and I've seen, from what I could tell, a couple of times, HOI have done the same thing to Israelite foreigners. I could be wrong, but from the gut feeling and the spirit, I thought, man, that guy's a Nigerian. He looks like a Jake. He's got the Jake spirit. You know, I digress. Okay, excuse me. Let's go to one more scripture. We're approaching 25 minutes. Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. Now, if you get a speckled bird, the speckled bird might have many, many different shades. It might have a tan brown color on it. Excuse me. It might have like a yellow patch on it. It might have a pale patch. It might have a dark brown patch. Actually, this, and then that's the same way with our people. Our people are very diverse looking. And we're also very diverse looking in this captivity because the Lord Yahweh Hashem Yashai has to hide us. Because the reason why is because if Esau knew how each individual Israelite looks, let's just say every Israelite, was, say, the shade of Wesley Snipes with a thick fro. Okay, every single Israelite. It'll be easy for Esau to get at every single Israelite that way. But the Lord has made us so diverse, even amongst even within the tribes, so diverse looking that we can pass as other nations. Okay, and also some of us look like other nations, the same way the Lord has made, like example, the Moabites, some Chinese. The Lord has made some of the Israelites covert. Paraphrasing the scripture there, meaning that the Lord has hidden a lot of Jake amongst the Chinese. An example of that greatness that the Israelites have is Bruce Lee. And through the Spirit, with the things that he has said and how he moves and his fluidity and the things that he does is like freaking Superman. Are you telling me that man is listen, real Moabites wear glasses. Real Moabites have 2 left feet. They can't even walk straight or talk right. And they smell like piss, okay? Because I worked some of these damn heathens. All right? If you look at Bruce Lee, the way he's, if you've seen pictures of him, the man used to cut his own hair, Jake been self-cutting his hair, right? Because he had a certain way to style himself, the way he wore his Ray-Bans, the way he dressed, the way he was like a dance champion also. How many Moabites or Chinese people do you know that are dance champions? You see all them break dancers in Japan, pop lockers, rappers, artists, Japanese, Chinese rappers. You got like the likes of China Mac. You got like the likes of that rapper Jin who signed to Rough Riders about 15, 20 years ago. Right? Huh? You got those gangsters in Chinatown, with the fades and the Avirex jackets. And if you don't look at them when they talk, you think that's a so-called black man speaking, or a Puerto Rican in the Lower East Side or something. We've seen in movies. And you look at this, the guy's a Chinese guy. That's the Jakes. There's a lot of Jakes everywhere, man. Okay, Jeremiah 12:9. Mine heritage is unto me as a speckled bird. The birds round about are against her. Come ye, assemble all the beasts of the field, come to devour. Okay, so we're going to come looking like everyone. You are wherever your father is. You have to be spiritual. Romans 8:16. Okay, the Spirit beareth witness. Okay, the likes of singers like the Bee Gees. Okay, you telling me they don't Jake? When you've heard so-called white singers that sound like Jake being played at a so-called family barbecue, especially amongst Jake in America or even in the UK, and you look at the singer oh man, that's a white guy, but he sounds good. That's more than likely an Israelite. The Bee Gees are a perfect example. All right, and so many other singers I can come out with. All right, all right. I mean, a lot of the doo-wop and rock and roll singers from the 50s, Frankie Valli and the Four Seasons, for example. A lot of their music was used in a lot of rock, like movies from the 60s, movies that were set in the 60s, sorry, early 60s. They're Italian, who else? That song, one of my favorites, classic song called Beyond the Sea. I forgot what it's called. Let me Google the guy. Paul Anka, is it? Because a lot of these Italian Jakes, change their last name because they're told to, so they can be more marketable. Because there's the stereotyping and hatred towards Italians, especially ethnic-looking Italians as well. Let me Google this song. I'm getting up in age, man. You forget shit. Frank Sinatra. That's a Jake, man. Frank is his father is a Sicilian, his mother is Northern Italian, so his mother could be just an Edomite. And Beyond the Sea. Bobby Darin. Is it Bobby Darin Italian? I think. Let me see. I think he's Italian. Bobby Darin. Beyond the Sea. That's a Jake, man. Okay, if he's not Italian, he's definitely an Israelite foreigner because, Bobby Darin was a renowned Italian-American singer and entertainer born Walden Robert Casotto in 1936. All right, from the Bronx, Italian descent. All right, see, that's an example. Songs like Beyond the Sea. Google it. That's another example of Jake Stees of Jake being everywhere. So all those cool songs that you liked in movies, period movies, and movies set in certain periods, and where Jake was singing, and these guys look white. All right, they're more than likely Jake, because that soul cannot come out of the vessel of a damn Edomite or a heathen. All right, so we are everywhere. All right, so this is you have to be spiritual when trying to recognize our people. All right, but the Lord is going to pull them out of whichever kind of life they're in and bring them to the truth if you are part of his sheep. All praises to Yahweh, Ba'ashem Yahshai, Ba'ashem Rakah Kodash, Mawatha Bad Babal, Kwame Shalom.